Alright. Let's start over. Welcome to the French Grand Prix of Formula League Round 4. Here we go for Q1. 4 minutes for our drivers to set the fastest times they can and get into Q2. There's 12 drivers. As such, only 6 of them can get into Q2 and fight for pole position and the top 6 spots on the starting grid. So here we go, drivers starting on their first lap. Of course, it's not a flying lap, it will be slightly slower, and most of them saving on their boost, except Nandi, who's used some of us. Nandi and Juan, on their respective debuts in Formula League, both of them emergency reserving Nandi for Pulsar Racing, and it is Juan for Audi Formula Racing. Nuno currently goes first with a 34.37. Nandi, with using all his boost, goes third fastest so far, 35.35. First time we've got a full Napoli Corsa lineup with Goose and Mart driving for the outfit. Here goes Urust. He's at the front of this entire pack. What's this time going to be? What's Joe's time going to be? It's Joe with a 32.75. We've got 4 sub-33s. What a start to the qualifying session. Sub-33, really good laps. Joe with a 32.75 is currently in first. It is Nuno in second with 32.95. Kraft is in third with a 32.97. Then Komi in fourth with a 32.98. Antti and Urist are the rest of the drivers provisionally getting through into Q2. Juan, best of the rest so far. Drivers now slowing down here, waiting for the boost to recharge, employing quite an alternative strategy. They want flying lap after flying lap here, because flying laps are what matters. Only the fastest lap matters, not who finishes fastest overall, by just having a quick practice race, because it is qualifying session. We've got Nandi and Antti here, decided not to wait, decided to go for an out and in lap, just a little bit of a warm-up lap. And here they go. Antti across the line improves by 6 hundredths. Giruni now improves up to 5th, 33.33. Urus drops down to 8th. Goose only with 36.75 currently. He improves to 34.95. He's still in 12th position. Kraft has tied Joe for first, 32.75. Nuno is just 200s behind him at 32.77. We're entering the final minute now of Q1. Who will be knocked out? It's a big fight there. Nandi improves to 7th with a 33.52. And other than the sub-33 drivers, I think the top 4 are pretty much assuredly in now. Giruni now cannot find improvement, gets a 33.82. Mart looks to be starting on a flying lap now. No, he finishes a flying lap. And he gets a 33.38, so he gets up into 6th at the current moment. Here goes Juan. And here's Nuno behind. Antti, I don't think he'll be finishing. He might be finishing the entire qualifying session at the end of this lap, or it might be next lap. 16 seconds left. I think it will be this lap. Lap 7 will be the final lap of the qualifying session. Currently, it is Kraft, Joe, Nuno, Komi, Jared, and Mart through into Q2. Antti just missing out. Can he improve here? I think he was getting ready for a flying lap. Nuno improves 32.48. Joe, is he gonna improve? He just matches his 32.75. Komi is waiting, but this is the final lap. He can't do a flying lap. It's lap 7, the final lap. Giruni, will he improve? He is currently in 5th, so an improvement should just help him out. He doesn't. 900 slower. Kraft doesn't improve. Mart doesn't improve. Urus doesn't. And neither does Goose. And that leaves Juan and Joe to go. Juan will definitely not be improving. No, it leaves Juan and Nuno. And Nuno won't be improving too because it's the final lap and a lot of them have been recharging to go for a flying lap, but it's too late for that. It's Nuno, Kraft, Joe, and let's check out the rest. It's Nuno, Kraft, Joe, Commie, and Jeruni and Mart that go through into Q2. Impressive stuff from Mart. He always does quite well at this track, and he managed to get the worst car on the grid into Q2. Antti will start from 7th, Nandi from 8th, Eurist from 9th, Pumpkin will start from 10th, Juan from 11th, and Goose will start from 12th. Q2. 3 minutes. Who will go on pole position? Will it be Nuno, who had a blast of a lap the first time round? And we are seeing some serious stalls on these starts. Let's hope it's not the same in the actual race. Here goes Joe. He's got the fastest start, but of course it is not comparable to a flying lap. Giruni and Mart are slowing down behind, just taking their time to finish as fast as possible the flying lap after this. Only 3 minutes, so it's a very low amount of time for the drivers to fight for this pole position and get the fastest laps they possibly can. And there they go, of course. Jerry actually of 36.20, so I think he started late on purpose. And Joe, who was in front at the start, 37.17. Here go Kraft and Nuno flying laps, and they're running their boost, which also is recharging as they drive. Nuno gets in front of Kraft there. Not sure who started in front though. Who will get the faster lap here? Kraft deploys the boost early. Nuno deploys it late. It's Nuno on provisional pole 32.85. Mart improves to 33.4 behind Kraft. Then it is Giruni, Commie with a 34.17. Charge JT with a 34.63. Nuno and Giruni have slowed down now. Just waiting for that boost to recharge. And I think so will all of these drivers, but it's just a minute left. We're halfway through the session already, so only realistically 1 or maybe 2 more flying laps to go. Joe decides to make this his flying lap, and he gets a 32.83. It's Joe on provisional pole. Mart with a 35.45. That was more of a cool down lap there. Kraft definitely with a warm-up lap. So have Commie and Nuno and Jared gone with that strategy. Looks like Joe is going quick again. Slows down now through the final sector, waiting for the boost to recharge. He goes Mart on a flying lap, I presume. His boost looks to be full again, but yet there is 33.73. He does not improve. Kraft now across the line, 32.85. Matches Nuno's time to go third fastest here. Commie, 33.33, beats Mart. Joe, nothing there. Giruni, 33.33, also beats Mart. Matches Commie, but Commie will take fourth if they do not break that tie. Mart now going across. Is he on another flying lap or a cooldown lap? I think it's more of a cooldown lap. Here, yep. Kraft also on a cooldown. This is the final lap, and Mart has just managed to cross the line, which is great news for everybody behind him, and great news for him as well, trying his hand at a final flying lap here. Will he muster better than 6? I think he makes a mistake there, goes into the grass just before the start of a long straight, and that is not good stuff if you want to set a fast time. There he goes. Very wide on the final turn. Does not improve. He will start in 6th. Nuno now. Where will he go? He's matched Joe's 32.83 already. Must have missed that. He does not improve on from that. Joe set it first, so he is on provisional pole still. Kraft goes fastest, 32.80. Takes pole position here. Will Commie or Giruni give an answer to that? Commie, 33.08. ahead of Girini. He'll start. It's Kraft on pole position here. Let's take a look at the fastest laps of Q2. Here we are then. Kraft on pole position. Joe will start from the front row, having set the 32.83 before Nuno, who will start from third. Comi starts from fourth. Girini starts from fifth. Mark Andrews will start from sixth. Anti seventh. Nandi, Urist, Pumpkin, same as before, and Juan and Goose will start from last. 43 laps at Circuit Paul Ricard near Le Castellet in France. The home race that would be for both Suicide and Urist. And we have another stall, and Joe goes fast. What is happening with these starts? They are very, very bizarre. But not much I think we can do about that there. Charge JT goes fast here. He is already outside Kraft's slip, but him and Nuno are working towards it, and Kraft is about to recatch the slipstream. Someone is going slow as Mart, who's had a bad start. He's down in 12th at the current moment. On the hards, however, one of the only drivers employing that tire to start off the strategy, Kraft, is into the lead of the race. He's got Charge JT behind him. Nuno goes on the inside of Joe, tries to get something done there. Joe is, of course, on the mediums here. Most of the drivers around him on the softs. Comi is part of this pack as well. Anti in fifth. We've got Hnandi up to sixth. Goose is up to seventh. Urist, Pumpkin, then Juan. Girini also has had struggled on the start. He's on the mediums. Just behind Juan, Pumpkin, Urist, the low pack that Goose is currently sort of leading, but Pumpkin and Juan are a bit detached from it. Comi's got the fastest lap of the race, but he's lost the slip of Nuno, Joe, Kraft. This pack is still going in quality order. Joe makes a mistake. Nuno slots himself straight in front of him. Not much happening there. Urist in 7th. Goose looking for an inside move here. Does not manage to make it stick. Pumpkin behind in 9th. Girini up to 10th now. Looking for a move on Pumpkin down the inside of turn 1. Doesn't manage to get past him, but he does complete it. Pumpkin with some lag looks to be punted out. Not sure what the issue was there for him. Mart is now ahead of Juan in 11th. Nuno and Kraft fighting for the lead here very valiantly by both sides. Joe behind them and Comi just staying together. Anti looks to be slowly catching them, and Nandi is not too far from the top 5 pack. However, Urist leading the bottom half of the drivers. There's the biggest gap between him and Nandi. It's 3 seconds. Kraft and Nuno still fighting. Joe seems to have dropped down. He's got both Anti and Comi on faster tires on his tail. Well, we see some team orders. Anti looking to go through. Joe lets him through. Doesn't really fight it. Nandi is close behind them now as well. He's an emergency reserve for Pulsar tonight, as I already mentioned. Looking to score some good points for them. Anti is already into the pits. The lack of grip on the Garage 97 really making him struggle. Nuno and Kraft have completely ran away from this pack here. Urist promoted into 6th. Girini now recovered up to 7th after that start, and Goose behind him in 8th. Looking for a move, in fact. Both of them deploying boost. Girini wins that drag race. Goose looking on the other side, kind of forces himself through. Both of them hit the grass, still looking to force himself. Of course, he's playing with Peng, so he might see himself ahead of Girini in this particular instance, but this is not working for either of them at the current moment. Girini, however, is solidly in front of Goose now. Goose makes a mistake. Anti goes through. He's on the undercut, of course. Comi, Nandi, Kraft have all pitted onto fresh softs after only 6 laps of running them. Nuno still staying out on 7-lap old softs at this point, and Joe, of course, in second. He's utilizing the durability of those mediums that are just last slightly longer than the softs. Urist has in fact been promoted up into 4th thanks to thanks to the pets. And Nuno and Joe both pet now. Joe off of the mediums. Urist is promoted up into the podium positions. Those mediums, however, are quite worn, and he will be petting soon. Kami behind him looks to really want to get past. He is on fresh softs. He doesn't want it to be slowed down by the Blue Blizzard driver. Urist makes a mistake. That's the opportunity for Kami. Joe takes it as well. Urist tries to counter that, but he can't. Looks like a bit of ping issues there. Kami trying to hold down the lead of this pack. Drivers on slower tires behind him. Urist forced nearly to avoid the pets by Joe. I think there was some sort of ping issue there, but Kami is now running in podium position. Is Joe behind them on the hards? Anti behind them both, still on the softs that you of course did an undercut on, but it doesn't seem to have worked. Must have gotten slowed down by the pack. Nandi, and we've got this big pack here. Urist and Juruni both off of the mediums onto hards. Goose not willing to rely on any space or position to them as he's on the faster tires on the mediums that are also very fresh. Pumpkin also behind, holding down the final points position at the moment, but there is Mart close behind them, looking interested. Juan has gotten off into the runoff, and he stopped his car, and he has decided to DNF the race. He's got to go. Nuno is into the lead of the race. Kraft is not in his slipstream, but he's not too far behind. Joe is now into the podium position. Charge AT just ahead of Kami, whose softs are starting to show some signs of wear. Takes a bit of grass on the final turn, and that does slow you down for the final straight that you have right after. Anti still running in 5th, and Nandi in 6th. Nothing new there. Jurini and Urist fighting on the hards. Goose looks to have lost them. Here they go through the first sector. So remaining on the track, now they're on the straight, which is interrupted in the middle by a chicane, and they get through the chicane just right. Urist still in the slip of Juruni, and he seems to have caught the back of Kami and Joe, but he's petting. He's petting once again, looking for another undercut, and it's softs again. Very interesting strategy. Urist now in front of Juruni. Juruni's not willing to stay behind. Maybe he's willing now. Urus deploys some boost. They're actually not too far from Anti. Juruni goes really slow through that turn, and behind them there's Pandemonium, Pumpkin, and Mart fighting for 10th. Goose is down, fighting for 9th. Goose is down into 11th now. Meanwhile, the top 3 remain the same. Kami has to pet off of his worn out softs, and it looks like Joe has profited off of staying on the hards, but Kami goes for another set of softs. So some drivers here really backing the softs. Nandi fighting Anti on the hards. They're still not too worn out, but they of course do have a very big disadvantage, especially on the straight here. He's got Kami close behind him, who also wants to get past him as soon as possible. Kraft is into the pits, looking to take an undercut on Nuno. He's taken these softs 7 laps. Nuno took the first softs, I believe, 7 or 8 laps, and he's looking to do the same here, maybe 7 laps again, if it was 7 laps. Will Kraft succeed with the undercut? He pets out, exits ahead of Charge JT. Anti is into 4th, Kami in 5th. And Nandi at the back of that trio. Jurini and Yura still battling each other on the hards. Pumpkin now has run away from the 2 Napolis. Goose in 10th, looking for Napoli's first points to be scored by him. Behind him is his teammate Mart, looking to accept that challenge. And now Nuno has petted onto fresh softs, and he is a second ahead of Kraft, so the undercut did not work too well, but Joe is now very close to both of them. Depends how long he can take those hards while maintaining such a small gap to the drivers in front. Anti still running in 4th with Kami behind. Not much happening. Here's Jerry and Jurist. Mart has gotten ahead of Goose for 10th. He's opting for the softs only strategy as well, already on 2 pit stops, just like Anti, Kami, Nuno, Kraft. not much to be said. A lot of them have detached themselves. Jera and Eurist are catching Hnandi at the moment. Pumpkin now has petted for fresh hearts. He's behind both Mart and Goose. Hnandi pets as well. And we're gonna have light rain. Is Hnandi gonna take... Yes, he takes the enters. Will it be fake rain or will it be a rain that stays? This is the important part. Hnandi gets the little swoop if the rain stays. If it's fake rain, however, that is quite disastrous for him. Mart is already into the pets. The rain hasn't even started. Mart is already into the pets onto enters, banking on it staying for a bit longer. Nuno is into the pets onto enters, looking for an undercut and craft to gain even more time. It's a fake rain. Joe onto enters. Kami still decides to pet for enters. Anti decides to pet onto fresh hearts. Eurus doesn't pet. Jiruni pets onto fresh hearts. And this has completely changed the dynamic. Well, Craft does have to pet soon, however. The softs aren't that fresh. And Nuno gets past him. I think Nuno will remain in the lead. Oh, heavy rain! And in fact, this fake rain just completely turned into a proper rain, and the enter runners will profit the most. So in just a few laps, we've had Kraft and Eurist and Anti and Jared profit, and it's completely changed to be Nuno and Joe and Kami and Nandi and Mart. Mart is now quite close, gets in front of Jeru thanks to this, but Jeru only loses one position there. Nandi gets ahead of Anti as a result of this rain. Kami back up into 4th. Most importantly, Kraft drops down into the final place on the podium. Will he in fact exit ahead of Kami? No, Kami is into the podium position. Kraft down in 4th. Goose has to pit. He's in 11th now, 10 seconds behind Pumpkin. And it's Nuno with a 6 second, nearly 6 second gap to Joe in 2nd. That looks nearly just guaranteed a victory here. I guess we'll have to wait and see. We're not even halfway through the race yet. It's quite a long one here at Circuit Paul Ricard. It's Joe in 2nd, and then Kami and Kraft fighting for the final podium position. Kami takes quite deep grass there. He's on the enters. Kraft is on the wets, and it's going to switch to light rain, but that doesn't matter if the track remains fully wet. The wets will still profit ahead of the enter tires. Nandi close behind Kami actually. Could get a move into 4th if he can manage. Anti has really fallen by a position into 6th. Girini is already back into 8th, fighting for 7th with Eurus. He's got the better tires for it. Mart is into 9th, and Pumpkin is chilling in the final points position. In 10th, of course, his teammate is up in 4th at the current moment. Has dropped back massively from Kraft. 4 seconds. But Hnadi has not caught him yet. They're both on the enters. Hnadi is very close to the slipstream range. Jera and Eurist have fought quite a long time, nearly the whole race here, ever since they got close to one another. Which one of them will end up winning this battle? That's the question. And will Nandi be able to make a move on Kami? He's not able to close down that small gap. Kraft with the fastest lap of 33.25. The fastest lap we saw in qualifying was in Q1 with Nuno. It was a 32.48. I don't think that's a sort of lap time on a track like this where the tires degrade quite quickly that he'll be able to replicate, but maybe a sub 33 we'll see that yet. The track is drying now, the sun has come out, the enters are starting to be more favorable than the wets. But Jeru is actually nearly 2 seconds ahead of Eurus now, has pulled a gap. Will we see that gap close with the enters becoming better? It looks like it. Yeah, everyone already after 24 laps further apart. Nandi is still within 2 seconds of Kami, but he's unable to close down that gap. Anti and Jer 3 second gaps there, which are possible to break through if you've got the pace. Now they're 4 second gaps actually. Eurist under a second behind Jer at the current moment. The top three currently just in a world of their own. Joe really going very deep on the grass there, and he decides to pet now. Nuno decided to stay out, and that is usually what you do when you lead a race. You overcut everyone behind if you've got a good gap. That way you can be prepared for any mischievous rain coming back. You will have the advantage, and at most you will lose a second or two. You won't lose too much time by staying out an extra lap, and you will only profit from being one step ahead of the person in second, but Nuno does have already a huge gap. He goes for the hard, similar to what Joe has picked last lap. Kraft decided to go for the softs, looking to chase down Joe. Only 3 seconds separates them. Kami on the softs, looking to make a gap to Nandi behind, who's picked the hards anti. Also deciding to go on the hards after banking on the softs in the first part of the race before the rain. Jer is on the mediums and Urist behind him is on the hards, quite close together, closest gap we've got in this race at the current moment. Mart is running in ninth and looking at minimum at ninth place. He's just a little bit less than a lap behind Nuno as he unlaps himself. He's on the softs, Pumpkin in 10th on the mediums, Goose in 11th on the softs. Not much on track action right now, so let's talk about how the drivers and constructors championships are looking. Charge GT, in fact, I believe, is now leading the drivers championship after Nuno missed round 3 and Charge GT won at Belarus at the modern Brest street circuit. Kraft had also a great performance. He got into first last race after a fake rain screwed up Charge GT, but at the very end, another supposed fake rain turned out to stay for longer than anticipated, and Joe regained his first position and won the race, the first driver to win other than Nuno, who won the first 2 rounds reserving for Blue Blizzard. Closest gaps right now, under 2 seconds between Joe and Kraft, under 2 seconds between Jiruni and Juris. Let's take a look here at the standings. Yes, it is Charge GT with 52 points total. Nuno in second with 50 points. Kraft, who did not attend the opening round in Barcelona, is in third with 37 points. Kami is just 7 points behind him. In fourth, looks to remain in fourth at the current moment. Razim is in fifth with 23 points. He is not racing here today. Urist in sixth with 22. Anti in seventh with 20. Tied with Corvid, but has a better finish as he finished second in the Spanish Grand Prix. Kraft is now under a second behind Charge JT, looking for Slipstream very potentially quite soon. Mart is into the pits. Doesn't matter too much. He's onto a fresh soft compound. Kraft actually goes into the pits right after receiving Charge JT's Slipstream. So he did gain about 2 seconds in that soft stint. Kami behind him also into the pits. Onto the soft. Will Nandi? Yes, Nandi overtakes him to go for P4 in the race. Kami 3 seconds behind him, 3 seconds behind him is Anti, 3 seconds behind him is Jiruni, and Urist is under 2 seconds behind Jiruni. Still the closest gap right now. Hits the wall, however, and we're going to have light rain. Will it be fake rain? Will it not be fake rain? It's up to the drivers in fresh tires probably to stay out, while the drivers on the more worn out tires might consider pitting. Nandi is already into the pits, in fact, onto the inters. And so is everyone behind him. Anti into the pits, Jer into the pits, Eurist into the pits. You see Nuno, a lap ahead into the pits, and it's Fake Rain. Fake Rain into the pits. Nuno is going to lose some time as a result of this to Joe and Kraft behind. Kami will also gain on Hernandez on fresh softs as well. That's probably why him and Kraft both decided to stay out. Joe decided to just risk it. He is on worn out hards, so he is still losing a bit of time. Oh, and the rain comes back, so it's not Faker. Oh, the rain situation on this track is just a complete joke here today. Switching between one side profiting and the other, and it's a complete mess. But Nuno looks to have once again gotten it right, and he's in first here. Joe crawling into the pits in second, Kraft behind him as well. How much time will Nandi gain here? He's already gone past Kami, and it's going to go away again. Not enough to convince Joe and Kraft to stay out. Kami decides to stay out. It's the most risky strategy, I would say, at the current moment, unless this clouds actually means that the rain will end, in which case he will gain a lot. And he actually pits onto dry tires, and it is going to be sunny. So very proactive choice from him there. Nuno has extended his lead to 18 seconds over Charge JT in second. Jesus Christ with that. Nuno in the fastest car. What is the Constructors' Championship looking like right now? It's Blue Blizzard in the lead with 60 points. Garage 97 only 5 points behind with 55. Then it's Monarch with 39. Got 7 laps until the end, so I think most drivers will pit for softs. Joe doesn't pack the crap on the Garage 97. Once again, he pits onto mediums. Anti pitted 8 laps before the end onto hards. Might have been a bit of a safe strategy, but looks to have worked out for him. So we got Nuno leading 19 seconds now, Charge GT in second with Kraft just 3 seconds behind him. Nandi is 2 seconds behind Kraft. Kami is less than 2 seconds behind Nandi, but on worn out softs, I think he will have to pit again this race, and better now than later, because those tires will only get worse. Anti running on those hards. Girouni looking to catch him behind, but gets a slowdown there. He's in 7th. Eurus looks to have massively dropped off with that rain. He's 12 seconds behind Girouni, so he must have pitted one or two more times. Van Girouni, Kami, decides to call it quits on this compound of softs, and he's going to finish on 6 laps softs. He exits just behind Anti on way fresher tires. Should have P5 here. Nuno, 19, nearly 20 seconds ahead of Joe. Joe looking to bring second home, but Kraft might have something to say about that as he tries to catch him. Nandi behind him makes a big mistake in the final sector, loses a lot of time. That is a very common mistake that I've seen happen. Kami is ahead of Anti, but Anti is not holding back. Kami a bit twitchy here and there. Goes into the grass in the final corner, loses a bit of time to Anti, but he's got the boost to keep himself in slipstream. Nuno with the fastest lap at 32.80. We're gonna see clouds soon. Will we see rain at the very end of this race? I don't think so. Kami, now behind both Girouni and Anti, takes a bit of grass. Girouni and Kami both struggling to catch Anti, who's just driving on the hards. He is straight chilling. He's got full boost saved up as well. Kami gets past Girouni here. Maybe it's better for them if they cooperate together. Anti makes a huge mistake. Kami is through into 5th position. Girouni now here as well boosts his way through both of them. Kami through the chicane loses a bit of time to Girouni and is still side by side with Anti, but he gets ahead of him. Looking for a move on Girouni, still 3 laps until the end, so a lot of time for action. Anti looks down the inside of Kami, doesn't work out for him. All of them driving very close together. Girouni currently leading this pack. Anything could happen here at the very end of the race. Kraft is now within the slipstream of Charge JT, who is struggling on the mediums, but Kraft is also struggling on those softs. Joe had more boosts saved up, boosts himself out of slipstream again. And Anti has lost the back of Jera and Kami. It's Jera and Kami fighting for 5th here. Only 2 laps remaining. Kami boosts his way past into 5th. He's got way fresher tires than Girouni, and that late pit might have actually worked out for him, even though he cannot challenge Nandi for 4th. And Nuno is entering the final sector of the final lap. Kraft has now lost some time to Joe as his softs have gone off. Joe looks to have made the right strategic choice by going onto the mediums. And Nuno wins the French Grand Prix and Formula League 3 out of 4 race victories. Who could predict that? Charge GT keeping himself ahead of Kraft here. Kami has now ran away from Jera. Jera's softs, however, are quite worn, and that means Anti is right back into the conversation for P6. But Charge GT here crosses the line in 2nd. It's Kraft in 3rd. Anti makes a move on Girouni. Nandi will cross the line in 4th. Anti down the inside, but he dive bombs him and he goes out wide. Kami will finish 5th, Girouni will finish 6th, and Anti will finish 7th. That was quite a desperate move on Girouni, but it did not work out. He lost the traction of the car. And Urist will finish in 8th. Some solid points for Blue Blizzard, even if it is his joint lowest finish. Mart, in his debut, earns points for Napoli Corsa. First ever points for Napoli Corsa after getting into Q2 with the Napoli Corsa car. Napoli Corsa. He finishes 9th, and Pumpkin finishes 10th for Carpathian's Peak. 5 positions behind his teammate. Goose decided to endure it until the end. Finishes 11th, no points, but he's tried his hardest, and the rain did screw a lot of people up a little bit. He finishes in 11th. Juan classified in 12th. He DNFs, and that was the French Grand Prix. Not much action here at the Circuit Paul Ricard after quite a lot of rain shenanigans, but Nuno in the end makes it 3 wins out of 4, fastest lap as well. 26 points there for Ram. So that will be all, and we'll see you for the end of the first half at the Glasgow Circuit as the British GP. We'll see you then.